Today we're going to talk about the top 3 reasons that livestock guardian dogs fail and what you can do about it. So if you think that would be helpful for you, go ahead and stay tuned. So the top number 1 reason that I believe livestock guardian dogs fail for people is because they have completely unrealistic expectations for these dogs. There's a lot of really bad information out on social media, especially, that kind of tells people that these dogs are plug and play. That you get a puppy like Audrey here, or even this boy, Dragos, we got Judy over here, and that if you just stick them in with a bunch of livestock, goats, cows, horses, whatever, they will just automatically do their job. They won't need training, they just need to bond, and you won't have any behavioral issues. And if you do have behavioral issues, it's blamed on the dog, and they say, oh, well, it's because there's something wrong with that dog genetically. You got a dud, basically, so you need to get rid of them, rehome them as a pet, and try again. It's a really unfortunate thing, but I think a lot of this comes from misinformation regarding how to raise livestock guardian dogs. And it is actually so prevalent that it is almost impossible to find good information. And the reason for this is that most information out there that is accessible to people is information that is specifically about raising livestock guardian dogs on large large ranches and huge acreages for people who basically want a livestock guardian dog that is going to be completely functional, independent of their people. And for us homesteaders, that is just not how we're going to be using these dogs. They're going to be part of our life day to day. They're going to be on our farm. They're going to be with people, with visitors, delivery people, children, pet dogs like Sparrow over here, barn cats, you name it. They're going to be part of our life day in and day out. And so the philosophy of raising them the same way that we would raise, say, a hands-off, totally independent ranch dog that is guarding hundreds of sheep or goats or cows over a huge span of territory is just not the same, and that same philosophy is not going to work. Now, there's a reason for this. Livestock guardian dogs were not used in America until the 1960s or 70s, and that's when the industrialization of ranching started to take over, and you will hear me talk about this a lot. We kind of use livestock guardian dogs in the new world, if you want to call it that, in America, in a very different way. We saw them very utilitarianly. We saw them as a tool so that we could protect our stock against predation without a present shepherd constantly monitoring the sheep and being with the stock. And so that is just not how livestock guardian dogs have been used for centuries and centuries in most other places. So the traditional way of using livestock guardian dogs is alongside a shepherd. People who use livestock guardian dogs in places like Romania are generally nomadic or transhuman people who move from place to place with their sheep. The shepherds are actually actively living with the stock, and they are part of the protection measures for their animals. The dogs aren't actually working alone. The dogs aren't actually working alone. They're working alongside their shepherd, and their shepherd has input in what the dogs do and don't do. The dogs look to the shepherd for leadership and for backup, and they are not just running amok. I mean, they are looking to their shepherd for leadership. They have a relationship with their shepherd. And I have found so much really great information. I'll try to link it in the comments on a website called Wild Transylvania that kind of documents how these dogs are used in places like Romania. And I find it very interesting. And for me, it makes sense to try to model this in a homestead setting, because a homestead setting is much more like living with your sheep in a pasture than it is dumping your sheep in a pasture or a large acreage and then leaving and going somewhere else, sleeping somewhere else. My house is here, and my goats are here, and my cows are here, and then I got some more goats over there. And during the day, my goats are out on the property, but they are here with me. And so the model that I like to try to encourage people to have in their head is much more shepherd and guardian working together as a team, as opposed to, I'm gonna stick the dog out in this pen and then leave them there, and they're just gonna do all the work for me. So number 2 would kind of just be a lack of education, a lack of commitment to a dog. And a lot of this just has to go back and tie back to number 1. And this is not being said in any way to shame livestock guardian dog owners, but the reality is that if you go into a situation with an animal thinking that it's basically going to be hands off for you, and then come to find out, actually I do need to train this dog, I do need to have a relationship and a bond with this dog and work with them every single day and have a relationship where I'm the shepherd and I'm leading them, people aren't prepared for that. And so when they realize it's either that this dog is going to chew on my, whoops, they just ran over the schnauzer, but she's okay. If they realize that it's between me working with this dog and this extra time commitment for me and my family, or this dog is going to chew my goat's ears and chew my goat's tails and chase them and potentially hurt my stock. A lot of times people, just because they go into it completely unprepared and uneducated, go, I don't want this dog anymore. Or they are told by the masses, something's wrong with your dog, that there's something wrong with them, they shouldn't be doing that, just get rid of them. And neither one of these things are true. So these dogs need a shepherd. They need a leader. They need someone to correct them. A lot of times, people who say that you should just be able to push them out into a pasture are people who are breeding these dogs, and this is just being honest, people who are breeding them, who have adult dogs on property, who are mentoring the puppies for them. And I'll be honest, I have it a lot easier. It's not that I am hands off with my dogs or that there's nothing that I need to do like leadership wise with my dogs, but I do have it a lot easier than somebody who is coming into it brand new, doesn't have a livestock guardian dog, and is getting a puppy. I have adult dogs. Keep an eye on these goofballs. See, this is Charlie. She's about 1.5 years. Jagos, even though he's about her size, is only 6 months old. And Audrey over here, she's a mentor puppy I'm training. She's going home this next week, but she's 5 months old. And so I have a wide range. Oh, there's Judy. We're keeping her. She's part of my breeding program. The adult dogs are hanging out in the shade because they're like, we're not messing around with that. And they were working hard last night. So, but I have adult dogs who mentor these puppies, who keep them in line, but I still have to do work with them. That's something that people don't necessarily always have. They don't always have an adult dog, and most often than not. And so the breeders are telling them, oh yeah, just stick them out with the sheep. They'll just do it. It's in their DNA. And that's true. But they will also act like a puppy. They will also do dumb puppy stuff. And there is 0 other working breed. Hey, Cleo girl. And there are 0 other working breeds that basically require, that require 0 training. Behave yourself. I think a fly is chasing her. So there are 0 other working breeds on the face of the planet that require 0 training. Any breed anywhere requires training for the job, even if the instincts are in their DNA. If you have a protection dog that's naturally protective, you still have to train them so that they are safe. If you have a police dog, you have to train them. If you have a search and rescue dog, you have to train them. If you have a special needs, what is it called? Why can't I think of the name of it? I will cut this part out. Anyway, if you have any other breed of working dog that does a job that's in them genetically, hunting dogs, you still have to do training. any breed of working dog, you have to put in work. And I don't know why people ever thought that this was different. It's not. The final point of all of this, I mean, this is really all kind of tied together if you haven't kind of caught on to that yet, is just lack of adequate education. And that's why I'm trying to come out here, make these videos, put myself out there, and hopefully help people. Mainly I want to help the people who end up getting puppies from me, but also, all the cows. Also, I want to make sure that this information is available to the public because unfortunately I think that this is a kind of like epidemic in the livestock guardian dog world, and lack of, number one, good breeding, which is really, really important. I mean, we could tie that into number 3. If you have a dog with poor breeding, like, let's just make that number 4, okay? And sorry if this is a little scattered brain, this is just how I roll. But if you are talking about, one of the reasons why these dogs fail is because people will say that they have a livestock guardian dog, but what they mean is they have a livestock guardian cross. And if your dog is livestock guardian cross with livestock guardian, no big deal. I do that, right? My dogs are crosses between livestock guardian breeds only. But if you have a livestock guardian dog that is bred with something like a heeler, a collie, a pit, any other high energy, high prey dog, a cattle dog, you are in for trouble. You have competing genetics that are going to confuse the ever-living daylights out of this dog, and it cannot be called a livestock guardian dog. It's just the breed isn't right. So a livestock guardian dog is not a dog that hangs out with livestock. Your poodle could do that, but a livestock guardian breed is literally generally a land race breed that has been developed over centuries and centuries and centuries by natural causes and by shepherds using them in very particular ways to guard their sheep, and to work with them as teammates. And so you can't just call any dog that hangs out with livestock a livestock guardian dog. They're just not. And when you have a dog that is a livestock guardian breed crossed with a non-livestock guardian breed, you are setting yourself up for huge struggle bus. Can that dog ever be safe with livestock? Sure. Will it ever be a livestock guardian dog? No. And that's just the truth of it. It's something that people don't know, and it's very frustrating. People will get a Great Pyrenees, for example, keep them intact on their property, and then they will accidentally get pregnant by their heeler, who's also, intact, and they keep as working dogs on their farm, and then you have a heeler Great Pyrenees. Woo, it's just a mess. So 4, but back to number 3. The lack of information that's available makes it very difficult for people to know what the right thing to do is. And honestly, that is where I started struggling really early on, because I was like, none of this makes sense to me, and I don't know how to implement this here with my family, with my kids on my property. It just doesn't make sense to have dogs that I don't handle, that I just throw out with the sheep or the goats or whatever. And I mean, she didn't want to be there. She was anxious, she was nervous, she was in a new place with new animals. And what it came down to was like, I don't feel comfortable putting this dog through this much distress, and I want her to trust me. I want her to trust me. I want her to trust my kids. And so we decided to do things differently. And ever since then, I've been researching and trying to figure out why this is such a common way to raise these dogs. Yeah, what it comes down to is basically all the research is not geared toward people like us. So I'm gonna wrap things up. I'm hoping that this is helpful. I know I'm a little scatterbrained, so please do forgive that. If you are a homesteader, have a family farm, a smaller property, and you're using a livestock guardian dog, considering a livestock guardian dog, you have one that you're struggling with, please understand that a puppy or a livestock guardian dog without training, who is chasing stock, who is chewing ears, who is, climbing over fences, this is not inherently evidence that your dog is a failed livestock guardian dog. It's primarily, hey Mags, it's primarily evidence that they didn't have a strong leader and they didn't have a shepherd directing them to tell them what you wanted from them. And so there's a lot of this can be fixed. There's a lot of this that can be undone. So I think that people will hear, oh, my puppy did this. Oh, my 1-year-old is doing this. And they think, oh, my dog needs to leave because it's eating chickens. Well, did you ever train it? Well, no, but it didn't do it before. Right, because it was a baby, but now it's a little older and it's trying new things, and they do that. So if you can get anything from this video, before you give up on your livestock guardian dog, try looking at it from a different perspective. Have you acted as a shepherd to your livestock guardian dog? Have you given them guidance and leadership and training? Have you inputted into them? Have you let them know your expectations? Have you let them know what you want from them and spent significant time working on, you know, like chickens, poultry training? That takes time. It just does. So anyway, I hope that you guys find this helpful, and if you guys have any further questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. And I would also love to have any other like video ideas put in the comments below. So I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you next time.